Hello, what is up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I'm financial coach Jess, and spoiler for you, we are not going to be talking about politics in today's video. That's not what this channel is about at all. But at the same time, there are going to be instances where politics directly impacts our income, our careers, people we love, and I can't ignore that or pretend like that doesn't happen. This video and the steps that I'm going to be taking you through today are especially for healthcare workers or employees who are being offered the experimental COVID-19 vaccine. And by offered, I mean that they have to get it or they will be fired. If you know a healthcare worker or employee who is in this situation, please share this video with them. My hope is that I can help as many people as I can because this is affecting a lot of people and their income really is at stake. Friends and family of mine, as well as some of my clients, were notified in July that unless they took the experimental vaccine, they would be terminated September 1st. Depending on the area that they're in, depending on their employer, sometimes a religious exemption would not be accepted. Sometimes a health exemption would not be accepted either. Since then, I've been brainstorming other ways that they can earn a living, some different jobs that they can apply for, even ways to get around this so that they don't have to choose between providing for themselves and their family or their medical freedom. And I want to share these tips and things that I've uncovered with you. If you were a client of mine and you were faced with losing your job this way, here's exactly what I would walk you through. First thing I would have you do is find an employment lawyer that you trust. And this may seem a little bit intimidating at first, and I'm not saying go out and throw a bunch of money at this, hire a lawyer and all that. We're just finding an employment lawyer that you trust. So how in the world do you do that? Here's how I found my business lawyer, Glenetta, who has done absolutely wonderful, affordable work for me and my business. And I'm actually interviewing her here on my channel in a few weeks. So make sure you look out for that value-packed video. On Facebook, I'm in an ICAG group. And this is basically just a Facebook group where people refer business back and forth. And I made a post saying that I was looking for a business lawyer to work on my website disclaimer, my privacy policy, terms and conditions, etc. I got several excellent referrals within the group and I booked my free consultation with each of them. And kind of a side note here, I make this sound very matter of fact, but I was super nervous. I had never hired a lawyer before, and this was very next level adulting and something that I didn't really want to do because it sounded super scary. And I'm here to tell you, it's not scary. During the free consultations, I would explain your situation and start to pick their brain on what options you have. Even though this is pretty unprecedented, I would guess that a lot of lawyers are not going to be caught off guard by this. They tend to view the world in terms of the law, so my guess would be that number one, you're not the only person having this conversation with them, and also number two, you're not the first person to be having this conversation with them. It really wasn't as intimidating as I thought it was going to be, and to be fully transparent, it wasn't nearly as expensive as I had thought either. On TV and in movies, I feel like this is really blown out of proportion, and I want to dispel all of the stereotypes that are built up in your head so that you can have these really important initial conversations with the lawyers and really find one that's a good fit for you. Glenetta has gone above and beyond for me these last couple of months, and I've been so blown away with how kind and how helpful she has been throughout my experience. Like I said before, I just had this lawyer stereotype like trapped in my brain, which is not fair because of course that's not going to be true for everyone. Some things that you can talk to them about is possibly how to improve your exemption letter. If you plan to write a letter to go along with your health or religious exemption, or you can also talk to them and see maybe what other options are available to you in your state. So to recap here real quick, number one, find an employment lawyer that you trust, have several free consultations with different lawyers, and go in prepared. Have questions already written out and take notes on what they say and what they might recommend. You are not alone in this, and you're not the only person having these conversations with them. Number two, and this is not legal advice, that's why we have number one, but number two is I would not quit my job. I would make them fire me, and here's why. This whole situation really is a ticking time bomb of a lawsuit. Of course, nothing's going to happen in the courts in such a short amount of time, and these employers know that. They did this on purpose. purpose. They're betting that you need the money. You don't have time to scramble and find something else in such a short amount of time. Most people are non-confrontational, and so they are willing to take that bet. And this is true. It might be a little bit more comfortable to quit of your own accord than to force them to fire you. Plus, you won't have that you were fired due to non-compliant or whatever when you go to get your next job. But if you quit, I believe most likely you will forfeit any stake that you have in the future of this lawsuit. And I know you've all heard the commercials where it's like, if you were injured due to this or that with this employer, you may be entitled to compensation. If it were me, again, not legal advice, but if it were me, I would make them fire me rather than quit and forfeit any stake that I have in the future of this lawsuit. Talk to your employment lawyer and don't make any big moves like that before you talk to them. Number 3, and this is a really, really important one, document everything between you and your employer in regards to the situation and save those conversations. Once again, people are pretty non-confrontational, so I bet a lot of people won't do this, but what you really need to do is ask some hard questions to your employer in writing. Here are some questions that I was brainstorming. Again, feel free to screenshot these, write them down, take them to your consultation with your employment lawyer and discuss whether this would be a good idea for you. Number 1, please help me understand why I am being forced to disclose private information to you on why I do not wish to receive this experimental vaccine. How can I be forced to share private health information at this time, which violates my employment contract? Number 2, when I was hired and signed my contract, there was nothing within it that stated that I would need to share private health information with my employer. How is mandating an experimental vaccine not discrimination? Number 3, the Nuremberg laws state that medical decisions of this nature must be of voluntary consent. How can I accept a mandated emergency authorized vaccine that goes against the Nuremberg laws? Number 4, can you please explain to me what data you are using to determine that this experimental vaccine is safe and effective for pregnant women, individuals with autoimmune disease, or individuals that have been injured by vaccines in the past? Number 5, when adverse reactions happen as a result of this vaccine that is being mandated here, what is the policy? Are you taking on the liability of every employee who is required to get this vaccine? Your employment lawyer will probably have more and better questions that you can ask your employer, but it's really, really important that you document and save every conversation, every correspondence, and get it all in writing. Step number 4 is stockpile money. If you are paying off debt, pause it. I would try to minimize expenses for the next couple months until you really see what the future holds for your income. This is exactly what I did with my clients at the beginning of 2020, and it absolutely saved some of them. We were very proactive. We didn't wait for things to get bad. We started at the beginning of 2020 stockpiling money. Instead of being reactive, be proactive, and that actually leads me to number 5, which is call all of your lenders. This was another really big way that all my clients were able to stay in good standing during 2020 because they were proactive. They called all of their lenders, they explained the situation, and then they had a list of options that they were looking for from the lenders. Don't just call them and say, hey, what can you do for me? We really don't want to put our financial future into the hands of someone who frankly just doesn't probably care about you, and that's okay. But we want to go in and say, hey, can you do this for me? No? Okay. Can you do this for me? Here are some of my favorite options. Can you lower my interest rate? Can you lower my interest rate for 6 months? Okay, no. How about 3 months? Can you lower my minimum payment by extending the loan? Can you freeze my loan and defer payments to a later date? Don't be afraid to get creative with this and really have a conversation with the person on the other end of the phone. Use your consistent payment history and credit score as leverage. And step number 6 is increasing your income. Increasing your streams of income always reduces risk. Now is a great time to really step back, look at your numbers and say, okay, if I lost my income at this employer, what would my budget look like? How long is my savings going to last me? What are some of my other streams of income that could possibly help compensate while I find a new job? I don't know your specific situation in this, so I don't want to just assume assume that you need to go out and find a new job, take a look at all of your streams of income, take a look at where you have money coming in, and see what the best return on investment would be. Is there one side hustle or stream of income that you have that you could beef up if you had a little bit more time? I am always a straight shooter. You guys know that. I don't sugarcoat things, and unfortunately, I want to be honest with you guys, getting another job in the healthcare field where medical freedom is a priority, it's not going to be possibly a great option for you, because this could be a decent sized exodus from the healthcare community overall. And this is something really to think about and ponder over the next couple of weeks. Is this a pivotal time in your life where you are okay pursuing a new career? Are there other healthcare related jobs in your area that you could possibly do from home? I know a lot of people are looking to work from home now as well. And if that's you, let me know in the comment section below, because I would love to do a whole other video on legitimate work and legitimate wages that you can make while working from home. And it's going to be separate because this video is already pretty long. If you are looking to get coached through this situation, maybe you're looking at this and you're like, if I lose my job, I don't have a budget. I don't have other streams of income. I could lose my house or my car. If you're a healthcare worker or similar employee, I'm willing to run a special during this time to help you guys out. So click the link below, reach out to me, and I'll be in touch about the special. Like I said earlier, if you know a healthcare worker or employee who is being faced with this mandate and doesn't know what to do, please share this video with them so that I can help them out as well. I'll see you guys in the next one.